Togame is seen thinking something about his past, but Tomiyama snaps him back, reminding him it's his turn to fight against Sakura. Togame tells Sakura to get ready, and the crowd yells with excitement, and Suo notices the energy is way higher than before. Hajime tells Sakura to have a deep conversation during the fight, reminding him of his earlier advice that a fight is more about having a conversation than merely punching and kicking. Sakura is determined to finish the fight quickly, however, Togame wants to savor the moment. As the fight begins, Sakura throws the first punch, but Togame counterattacks. Sakura narrowly escapes a devastating punch, and the crowd cheers for Togame. The fight intensifies, with Sakura landing a hit, surprising Togame, but Togame slams Sakura down, almost knocking him out. As Sakura gains control, the crowd falls silent, witnessing his transformation. Despite a counterattack from Togame, Sakura refuses to give up, determined to prove that Shishitoran's obsession with power is meaningless. Sakura mentions that Shishitoran's members made a huge mistake by hurting one of their middle school's kids, but Togame reveals he doesn't know anything about it. It turns out 2 of Shishitoran's members messed with that kid without informing Togame, and he instantly takes their jackets away. Togame apologizes to Sakura for the delay and declares it's time to continue their fight. In a flashback, it is revealed that a younger Togame is fighting against Shishitoran's guys all on his own, and Tomiyama shows up, impressed by Togame's strength, and invites him to join the crew. Togame joins and Tomiyama talks about their devotion to power, a promise to stay true to oneself, and use strength to free yourself from all barriers. They become known as an unbeatable duo, who even invade rival territories to protect their crew. But as time passes, Tomiyama becomes stronger due to his immense power, and even beats his teammates who lose against their opponents. Togame is shocked to see Tomiyama acting so selfishly, but agrees to follow his philosophy, vowing to keep Shishitoran's status strong. In the present, Togame stops putting in effort to win against Sakura, making him confused. Sakura asks why Togame just fought his teammates who messed with the kid from middle school, since anyone with power in Shishitoran's group could do as they pleased. To his surprise, Togame reveals he was trying to clean up the crew from scumbags. He also mentions fighting with Furin's group was Tomiyama's obsession, but it only led to their downfall because they have been losing every match. Sakura accuses Togame of being one of the scumbags he's trying to eliminate, and to make him realize his own hypocrisy, he vows to win this fight. The fight takes an unexpected turn with Sakura and Togame beating each other mercilessly, but they laugh since they're enjoying it. During the fight, Togame realizes he should have confronted Tomiyama when he used to beat up his own teammates in the past, instead of following his philosophy. He gives up and lets Sakura deliver the final punch, making him win. Sakura is furious because he doesn't understand why Togame gave up so easily, but before Togame can respond, Tomiyama excitedly interrupts, saying he wants to fight Sakura someday. But for now, he's ready to face Hajime. Togame tries to stop the fight because it's already clear Furin's team is stronger than Shishitoran, but Tomiyama attacks Togame, telling him to shut up since he lost. Sakura gets furious and tries to punch Tomiyama, but Hajime stops him, saying Tomiyama is his opponent and Sakura has already done a great job during his fight. Tomiyama believes if he wins the match, he will own Furin's group, and he reveals in front of everyone that he doesn't like Shishitoran, since they are a bunch of weak losers. The match begins with Tomiyama giving a strong competition to Hajime, but as the fight gets heated, Tomiyama starts bleeding from his nose due to Hajime's punch. Hajime declares that he won't lose to someone who can't understand himself and his own vision, and he adds that Tomiyama's punches feel weak because he's fighting alone without any support from his group. Tomiyama dismisses it and keeps attacking, but Hajime is unbothered. The crowd watches in silence as Tomiyama tries to prove his strength, but Hajime questions him, asking what freedom means to him. Tomiyama mentions that freedom is about having fun, but Hajime tells him he doesn't seem to be enjoying himself. Tomiyama feels alone, which infuriates him, and he starts punching Hajime constantly. But Hajime doesn't attack back and instead hugs him. Tomiyama doesn't stop, but Hajime tells him that Tomiyama used to have a clear vision in the past, which made him the strongest. He asks Tomiyama to remember that vision and become strong again, and then Hajime punches Tomiyama, making him remember his past. Tomiyama remembers the time when his team was strong and they used to spend quality time with each other like friends. He suddenly wakes up, sees everyone sad, and realizes he has lost to Hajime. He confesses to Togam that becoming the leader had been like chasing a treasure chest, but when he reached it, it was empty, meaning he wasn't happy anymore. Togam apologizes for not confronting Tomiyama about his flawed philosophy of devotion to power and kicking out weaklings from his group. However, Tomiyama accepts his mistake and tells Togam that all Togam did was to keep Shishitoran united, even by following his flawed philosophy. Tomiyama gets up and tells Hajime the only thing he missed about his team was their happy faces. He urges everyone to be happy and takes off his jacket, giving it to Hajime so he can rule Shishitoran, but Hajime declines, saying he doesn't want to rule another team. He instead offers to become friends and urges everyone to leave for their homes without any hate. He asks if there are any good takeout spots nearby to throw an after party and celebrate the tournament's end. And Togame leads them to a rooftop where Furin's group members eat with Tomiyama and Togame. Hajime devours the food, but he's concerned about Togam's quiet mood, so he asks if he's okay. Togame bows down and apologizes because he thinks Shishitoran's downfall came because of his mistake. Hajime explains that a leader needs fun, which comes from being with his crew, not just being the strongest or being on top. Tomiyama learns from Hajime's attitude and realizes that spending quality time with his own team is the most important thing, because no leader becomes number one on his own, but it's actually his teammates' support that makes him the strongest. After the meal, Furin's team leaves and Tomiyama tells Togame that he needs their support for Shishitoran's sake. They all go to Tachibana's restaurant, and Sakura remembers her words that he couldn't become the top dog on his own and needed support from others. Hajime has succeeded because he has the support of others, but Sakura's sole goal has been to claim the title for himself, leaving him in an identity crisis. As he tries to leave, Hajime stops him and orders coffee for everyone, declaring they need to celebrate today, since Sakura had a conversation with Togame during his fight. Sakura doesn't understand, but Hajime explains that fights are a form of primal communication, expressing emotions behind punches and kicks. Hajime mentions that Sakura seems to like Togame after the fight, and it's because he knew a lot about him during the fight. He tells Sakura that getting to know others can make him the strongest, and Sakura asks if he will need to fight Hajime to gain the top rank, which Hajime accepts, but Sugishita doesn't like, and he tries to hit Sakura with a chair. The next day, Suo, Niri, and Sakura notice people staring at them in the school, but they realize it's because of the fight yesterday, though Sakura doesn't care and ignores the stares. When they enter class, a crowd gathers, who demand details about yesterday's fight with Shishitoran. Suo and Sakura push Nieri to explain, but just as he's about to start, a muscular guy named Taega shows up and asks Sakura about his virtue, something he believes every man should have. Sakura doesn't answer him and finds him odd, but Suo confirms he's as strong as Sugishita. Taiga suggests they hang out after school, and they end up at a restaurant where healthy food is served, keeping in view its nutritional content. Taiga asks Sakura about his virtue again, but he mentions he doesn't know, and Taiga tells him Sakura must have a vision during a fight, and that will be his virtue. Sakura remembers Hajime's words that fighting is more like a conversation rather than punching. A boy named Kiryu from their class arrives there with a girl, and Taiga wants to have a conversation with him, but Kiryu keeps his focus on the girl, making the group think they are romantically involved. Kiryu leaves with the girl, and Taiga feels guilty about how he behaved. Outside, Kiryu and the girl are surrounded by a gang, and when the group comes out, Kiryu explains he saw a guy harassing the girl, so he knocked him out and brought her here, which clarifies he isn't in a relationship with the girl. However, the guy's friends have arrived who want revenge. Taiga praises Kiryu for defending the girl, saying his virtue must be protecting women. Taiga keeps talking until someone tries to attack Kiryu, but Sakura intervenes and takes down the attacker. Both Sakura and Taiga prepare to face the gang, with Suo ensuring the girl's safety. Though Sakura is still bruised from yesterday's fight, he refuses to just sit and watch. The fight begins, and Furin members start taking down the troublemakers easily. Taiga lets an attacker punch him, but then knocks him out in one blow, saying it's his style of fighting. He lets the opponent think he's strong, and suddenly turns the table, which Sakura thinks is dumb, but continues fighting. After the battle, Taiga teaches Sakura Furin's motto, which is anyone who tries to mess with the townspeople will be taken down. Kiryu praises Sakura's strength, and they exchange phone numbers. The next day, 3 second-year leaders, Enomoto, Kusumi, and Kaji, arrive, and Enomoto tells everyone they need to choose a grade captain right away. The grade captain is the leader responsible for the entire class. Suo raises his hand, and Sakura assumes he's volunteering, but Suo instead points at Sakura, nominating him. Sakura tries to argue, suggesting Sugishita would be a better fit, but the group disagrees, and all the students vouch for him because of his skills and trustworthiness. The second years get impatient, while Sakura is hesitant, so Kaji, the current grade captain, steps in and tells Sakura he should take the position. They eventually make Sakura the grade captain, while Sakura is still unsure of how to handle the responsibility. After the class, an old lady tells the group she has lost her daughter, so the group prepares to find her. But it turns out she was just referring to her cat, and Kaji finds it. Sakura asks what Kaji's vision is of being a grade captain, but Kaji reveals he never wanted to be one, but his companions had trust in him, so they pushed him to take the responsibility. Sakura starts realizing their situations are similar since he himself didn't want to be the captain either, and doesn't know what his responsibilities are. In the restaurant, Tachibana offers Sakura simple advice, which is remembering everyone's names, because it will show Sakura's determination. Nieri and Suo tell Sakura that they will help him as his companions. While Nieri will remember everyone's name for Sakura, Suo will take responsibility as a negotiator since he's good at convincing others. Later, Hajime calls the grade captains and their companions on the rooftop, which makes Sakura nervous because there are many other people on the roof and he doesn't want to learn their names. Neri reveals they are going to meet the 4 kings of their school and their secondaries. Now, Hajime mentions he hasn't prepared a speech, and the purpose of this meeting is only to get to know each other. He simply asks everyone to look out for each other, as he can't be everywhere at once, and everyone agrees. Later, Sakura and his friends find some guys in white jackets, and Suo recognizes them as part of the Shady Keel crew, famous for being involved in horrific activities. Sometime later, they find a boy named Anzai, beaten up, and although Anzai tries to hide what happened, Suo suspects he's involved in a fight with the Keel crew. Sakura hesitates to act, thinking Anzai doesn't want help, since it's his personal matter, but Neri insists they step in because he is their classmate. Sakura eventually agrees, remembering Hajime's words about looking out for each other. Anzai's childhood friend urges him to take help from Furin's group, but he declines, saying they are for the town's protection and can't handle everyone's individual matters. It turns out Anzai's childhood friend Nagato is a member of Keel crew, but Anzai thinks Nagato doesn't want to be in that group since he saw them beating him up for not stealing a lady's purse. When Anzai tried to bring Nagato back, Nagato instead attacked Anzai, making him leave. In the present, Anzai receives a letter and he leaves the class in panic. Inside was a picture of the Keel crew holding Nagato hostage, demanding Anzai's presence. Sakura asks him about the matter, and although Anzai is reluctant to share, Sakura snatches away the letter and learns the Keel crew demands Anzai's presence at an abandoned place where Nagato is kept. Eventually, all their classmates join in to help Anzai, and they all head to the abandoned place to rescue Nagato.